They didn't want you to know this, but you've waited long enough. So now, it's time. Chosen one. It's time to tell you everything. For years, you felt it, a quiet pulling in your spirit, a whisper that never quite faded. No matter how much noise the world made, you could still hear it. It wasn't imagination. It wasn't coincidence. It was calling. You were marked from the beginning. Before you were born, your name echoed in realms unseen. The divine blueprint of your life was written in ink that can't be erased. You've always felt like you were different, not better, but set apart. Not above others, but not of this world either. You've always walked a path that made no sense to those around you. But that's because the truth about you was never meant for them. You were hidden on purpose, concealed, protected, sheltered from battles that were never yours to fight. Not because you were weak, but because your strength was being refined in the silence. While others ran toward the spotlight, you were led into isolation. And in that quiet place, something sacred began to awaken. Not everyone will understand this. And they're not supposed to. Because what's inside of you wasn't made for the masses. It was crafted for a mission. They try to label you. They try to mold you. But the fire inside of you refused to be tamed. You've outgrown environments, relationships, even versions of yourself. And that wasn't by accident. It was by design. Every ending you didn't understand was God clearing space for your true identity to rise. You've cried in secret, smiled in public, and carried weight no one saw. But heaven saw it. Every tear, every night you couldn't sleep, every prayer you whispered, even when your voice shook. And now, that unseen obedience is echoing across realms. Because this is your time. This is your moment. The reason they couldn't break you, the reason life kept trying to crush you but never could, is because you weren't built by this world. You were built by divine fire. That's why you couldn't settle, why the ordinary never satisfied you, why pretending didn't last. Your soul always knew there was more. You weren't here just to survive. You were sent to shift atmospheres, to awaken others, to carry light into places still covered in shadows. But here's the truth. You had to be broken before you could be built. You had to lose before you could carry. You had to walk through valleys before you could lead others to mountaintops. You were never forgotten. You were forged. And while the world overlooked you, heaven was preparing you. There are secrets you hold that no degree can teach. Wisdom born through wilderness, authority born through suffering, glory born through grief. You didn't just survive, you transformed. You carry power in your silence, fire in your restraint, heaven in your breath. That's why demons get restless when you enter a room. Why people sense something about you they can't explain. Why doors open for you that logic can't justify. Because you walk with divine backing. And now it's time to stop shrinking. Time to stop hiding your light to make others comfortable. Time to stop explaining a destiny they were never meant to understand. There are people waiting for your voice, for your presence, for your truth. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too small. You are right on time, right where heaven needs you to be. And yes, the attacks were real. The setbacks, the betrayal, the loss, it was all real. But it didn't destroy you. It activated you. You now carry the scars of a warrior, the mind of a survivor, and the spirit of a chosen one. So don't look back. Don't second guess. Don't let fear write the rest of your story. Because what's ahead of you is so much greater than what's behind you. God is about to show you why you had to wait, why you had to heal, why the door had to stay shut until now. The unveiling is coming. Not because you forced it, but because you were faithful. And when it happens, it won't make sense to anyone except you. Because only you know what it cost. Only you know what it took. Only you know how deep the pain was and how strong the promise still is. So breathe. Stand tall. Let heaven finish what it started in you. Because this is not just your moment. This is your awakening. And no force on earth can stop what God has already released over your life. They tried to distract you. The noise, the chaos, the confusion, it wasn't random. It was targeted. They knew if you ever got still enough, quiet enough, clear enough, you'd remember who you are. That's what the enemy feared all along. Not your possessions, not your status, but your awareness. Because once you remember the truth, you become unstoppable. This is that moment. Chosen one, you were never meant to blend in. That aching feeling you carried your whole life, the sense that you were never quite home, that was your soul remembering its assignment. You came here to wake people up, to shift the course of lives, and to break generational chains so deep-rooted they thought they'd never snap. But you're the one that darkness hoped would stay asleep. But you're not asleep anymore. You're seeing now, feeling now, knowing now. The divine truth is that you've always been connected to something far greater, far deeper than this surface reality. Your spirit remembers things your mind forgot. The moments when you feel sudden chills. That's your soul brushing up against the divine. That's confirmation. You're in alignment. There's a reason you've always felt things stronger than others. Why crowds exhaust you. Why fake smiles disturb you. Why you crave silence when others chase noise. You weren't made to conform. You were made to transform. Every space you enter, you either raise the vibration or expose the lies. You can't help it. Your presence alone is disruptive, not because you're aggressive, but because you carry truth. And truth, by nature, is disruptive. People have misunderstood you your entire life, labeled you, mocked your path, called you too sensitive, too quiet, too intense, too strange. But that's only because they couldn't decode you. You weren't made to be decoded by the world. You're encrypted with divine language. You're understood in spirit. And that's why heaven's been watching you closely. Not judging you, but protecting you. There were things sent to destroy you, but they couldn't touch you. Because there's a seal on your life, a mark that can't be erased. And when you wondered why they left you, why they betrayed you, why the storm never seemed to end, it was all God removing the ones who couldn't go where you're going. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about proving anything. This is about alignment. It's about destiny. It's about finally stepping into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. You won't need to chase anything. The right people, opportunities, and blessings are already circling your life, waiting for your signal. The signal is your truth. When you start walking in it, speaking from it, and living it, everything changes. The confusion lifts. The fog clears. The attacks lessen, not because the enemy stops, but because you stop reacting. You rise. You command. You remember. And the more you remember, the more you reclaim. Your voice is not just a sound, it's a weapon. Your story is not just a past, it's a blueprint. And your presence is not just random, it's divinely timed. There are generations before you, ancestors who prayed for you, cried for you, believed in the one who would break the pattern. You're that one. You were the prayer. That's why it's been so hard. That's why the weight felt unbearable. Because you weren't just carrying your own healing, you were carrying theirs too. But here's what they didn't tell you. The burden was never meant to crush you. It was meant to crown you. And now, after all this time, the crown is ready. Not one made of gold or jewels, but one made of clarity, purpose, and spiritual authority. The kind that can't be bought. The kind that can't be stolen. The kind that makes demons nervous and heaven proud. So when the winds rise again, and they will, don't panic. Just remember who you are. You are chosen, not because you were perfect, not because you were the loudest, but because you were willing. Willing to go within, willing to let go, willing to rise when everything said you should stay down. And now, it begins. God is revealing everything you weren't ready to hear before. The truth that your silence protected you, that your heartbreak activated you, that your tears were currency in the spirit. You paid a price no one saw. And now, heaven is about to make the deposit. People will wonder how you did it, how you rose, how the fire didn't consume you. But you'll know, it was never you. It was what lived within you. The voice that whispered, "Keep going," when you had nothing left. The strength that carried you when your legs gave out. The grace that surrounded you when you didn't know where to turn. You are not empty. You are overflowing. And you no longer need to explain yourself. Your presence will speak. Your light will speak. Your results will speak. Let the world talk. Let the doubts echo. Let the storms come. You're not the same anymore. You've crossed over. This is the truth they never wanted you to know. That you are the revelation. That you are the sign. That you are the answered prayer. And now that you've remembered, there is no going back.